Hi everyone, I'm pretty excited about this tutorial and wanted to get it on video to show you how to set it up and how it looks. Tony from AI Repository and I both worked on this, so I wanted to give him credit as well. Okay, here we go. So you open the App Inventor and drag out all the components. Check out the tutorial on my site at www.taiic.com for the configuration details. We have a label, two canvas components, two image sprites that are part of the second canvas. And the reason I have two canvas components is because I split the actual drawer and the tab that pulls it. The reason is due to how AI handles resizing. If you do this with a single canvas, the tab shrinks, so in order to keep its size constant, I use the setup you see here. And finally, there are two clocks that will be used. Now we head over to the blocks editor. As you can see, there really isn't much needed to get this working. I use Canvas 2 to handle the required actions for the drag event. I kind of did this backwards and ended up with Canvas 2 being above Canvas 1, so don't pay attention to the order. The main idea is that the canvas, which has the background set to the tab portion of the drawer, is the one we want to handle what happens when you try to drag it. I have 4 if-then-do tests. I'm using a pair for each direction, up and down. When you try to drag that canvas, it'll first check to see if position. I have 4 if-then-do tests. I'm using a pair for each direction, up and down. When you try to drag that canvas, the one with the tab, it will first check to see if the starting position on the y-axis is greater than the previous position. And as long as you keep moving up, it will be. So it will enable clock 1. Clock 1 timer will start and it will check the height of canvas 1, which in this tutorial is the actual drawer. As long as the height is less than 475 pixels, this will continue to loop, and as soon as the height reaches 475 pixels, the timer will be disabled. But what if you start dragging down before reaching the top? Well, that's a good question, and that's where the second pair, the if-then-do test, comes in on canvas 2. It is waiting to see if the other clock is enabled, and if it is, it'll disable itself so that it does not interfere with the other clock. You can see that right here. The same approach is used for both the up and down directions. The label is used as a buffer, without which the canvas would just appear on screen. That's why we need to decrease or increase the size of the label proportionally to that of the canvas, so that the canvas is either taking up the space the label clears up while moving up, or clearing up the space that the label will fill when moving down. So the way we get it to create a smooth transition is by setting the clock interval to 1 millisecond. It took some trial and error, but I found that changing the height by 30 pixels per iteration with a 1 millisecond timer interval gave me a pretty smooth drawer. What this means is that as long as the event is true, it'll change the height of the canvas every millisecond, which to the human eye appears pretty smooth. And as you can see here, the reverse is done for second timer when we drag down. Okay, let's take a look at the emulator. The emulator is not as responsive as the actual phone, but it's good enough to demonstrate how this looks. If you click the tab, which is the canvas with the drag effect, and pull up, the drawer goes up. I don't need to program anything for the tab portion because it inherently moves as the canvas below it increases in size and pushes it to fill the space that is being cleared by the label decreasing in size. And of course you don't see the label, but it's there. When I pull down, the label starts to increase in size, which pushes the tab down and the drawer canvas decreases in size. I can move up and down freely and the drawer responds to my actions. See here. And again, this is a little more responsive on the phone and looks cleaner, but you get the idea of what this looks like here. You can also see the two buttons I added in the drawer. I didn't add any actions to them, but I could have them open another page or launch a website or whatever action I need for my app. Well, that's it. Please visit our sites. Tony is at www.tair.info, and I'm at www.taiic.com. I wish you all to have a safe and happy New Year.